there's a lot to do, but it's challenging. It's an exciting time.
You can't fit a heat pump in a drafty and big house.
Too little, too late. All of a sudden, I'm starting to save money.
Heat pumps can work only in new builds.
They shouldn't listen to all the nonsense that's out there.
Welcome to the UK series. Just a quick reminder, new online educational heat pump platform is available. It is interactive, mobile friendly and ready to use from your PC, tablet or mobile phone. Link is in a description below.
I've met up with some of my favorite persons in UK installer heat pumps, and I think we can gather some topics from the industry. So, what is the biggest learning from the heat pump industry that you have, Dominic?
So I think it's all about obviously retraining the right guys in the industry. From an outsider point of view, the end user is fairly well educated, so I think it's finding the right guys with the right knowledge to push forward. Obviously there's the gas boiler guys looking to get into heat pumps. It's just making it easy for them. I mean, heat pumps are fairly straightforward. It's the design side, so the likes of Kimbo's course at Warmer, people need to get involved with that. I think that would be a good first step.
Yeah, and what do you think is the biggest myth in the industry, Kimbo?
Biggest myth? I think the biggest myth in the industry is that you can't fit a heat pump in a drafty and big house. We really do need to try and explain or get the general public to understand that they shouldn't listen to all the nonsense that's out there. But the problem is the industry is full of people that don't want to sell heat pumps. So it's like an onward battle. But I think that's the biggest myth, that they don't work. Mm-hmm. Heat loss is heat loss. Yeah, it doesn't matter what building it's in. A kilowatt is a kilowatt. You know, it either can or it can't heat it. So yeah, I think that's the biggest myth that I can think of.
And you, Mario, what are you thinking? What is the biggest myth in the industry?
The biggest myth is that heat pumps can work only in new builds, similar to what Kimbo said. And we have heat pumps for hundreds of years. So air conditioner is a heat pump. Every hotel has cooling with a heat pump, most of them also heating. What is, let's say, new is heat pumps in residential homes, because we used to have gas heating, and this is the main difference. But heat pump as technology, and you have also fridge at your home, so this is also heat pump. So technology is here, we just need to adapt a little bit, mainly for understanding for engineers and for end users.
Thank you. And in UK is also something coming up called Future Homes. That will be a new legislation for UK. How do you think that will affect the market, Darren?
Cajsa, what an absolutely outstanding question. You would think I was a politician to answer that, wouldn't you, with the legislation? Right. So in the UK, we've tried to kickstart heat pumps for the last few years. Okay. Hasn't quite got there. Everybody's saying in 2027 we will have 600,000 heat pumps installed in the UK. It's impossible. However, if we do this new legislation where new build properties must have solar on there, that's going to push everybody else to say, hold on, I've got solar, my building's well insulated, so my heat losses are good. So what Kimbo's saying, a bit of a myth, why don't I put a heat pump on? So all of a sudden, I'm starting to save money. That will kickstart the industry to get to where we need to be. Lovely for them to walk past as we're talking. It's fantastic. Lovely to see you, MCS. Back over to you, Cajsa.
Thank you. So, Richard, you have met a lot of installers during your work and made installations as well. Why do you think your colleagues in the branch not install only heat pumps? Why are not everybody there?
Why is everyone not installing a heat pump? So there's lots of barriers and challenges for starters. So the biggest barriers have been government-led so far. So a long time ago they messed about with a bus grant. So £5,000 isn't enough really for a homeowner to go for a heat pump. So, you know, they upped it to 7.5. Really, it was sort of a half measure. Should have been sort of 10 grand. It's kind of that sort of level, I believe, in Europe, or it has been. So, you know, if you're going to be really serious about this, then you need to put the investment into trying to sell the technology, at least in those innovation stages where we're not really at the early adopter stage yet. We're sort of still at the innovation stage. So there's like early innovators, homeowners who already got the PV and the EVs and things like that, that they just need that extra push to get it into the public domain properly, not just at the innovation stage. So it's very much on government at the moment just to do that. But hopefully with some of the things that they have got in the pipeline and they are trying to do, hopefully it'll just kickstart enough to get the heat pumps rolling with people.
Yeah. Great. Do you think future homes legislation will affect the amount of heat pumps installed in UK?
That is a good question. I don't know, because what happens is one government comes in, makes a policy, everyone goes for it, next government come in, changes it, everything falls apart. So unfortunately, there's nothing in a proper rock steady fashion to do this. And even, you know, homes that have been built since sort of 2016 really should have had heat pumps in them. That's, you know, no brainer about that. But the government have messed about with targets, things like that. And that's been the main cause of non-adoption, I think, because the more people that have like heat pumps in their homes, especially as a new build stage, the more people that talk about it and the more people that are happy with the technology and the more people that promote it. So by not having that and having the allowance of gas boilers to go into homes for so many years, nearly 10 years, like 2016 it was meant to be, so nearly 10 years, we're just really starting to push heat pumps now. You know, it's not too little too late, but we could have been in a very different position now if they had brought something like the Future Home Standard in earlier. Yeah, of course.
Also, the other thing would be the skills gap. You know, let's say they bring the legislation in, even if it's here for a long time, do we physically have the bodies to install them properly? That's another hurdle that needs to be tackled. So I think solving one problem automatically will create several others that need to be focused on. So it's getting the apprentices involved. You know, the average age of the installers is quite high in our industry. So it's how do we make it exciting for the younger guys and girls coming into the industry.
Yeah, so raising the level of knowledge for the installation is one of the points.
As mentioned before, new heat pump online educational platform is available. It is interactive, mobile friendly and ready to use whenever you are. You can check more details in a link in the description below.
Then if you would give good tips for the installers about choosing an ESBE valve when they start to install heat pumps, what would you suggest for that?
Well, that's a bit of a pointed question. So we've just got into more depth now of explaining KV values to all our trainees. Something in the UK that everybody knows the expression, but most people don't actually know what it relates to. And so we're trying to explain the difference between an old-fashioned spring return type Cold War, if you like, a Cold War version of a diverter valve, and the new stuff that ESBE do, and the difference in KV values and what that means to the efficiency of the system. And my big thing is always about trying to get the system to run on one pump, and that sometimes the KV value can be the difference between that happening and that not happening. So how important it is that you understand that and what these numbers mean, and when you understand the numbers, where you can get the bits of kit from. Because it's all right understanding it and say, oh, I need a diverter valve with a high KV value. You try Googling that, you know, and you can't. So now your lot have got on board and we're starting to show the way, you know, this kit is available. You know what the numbers mean, you know, let's fit the right kit in future. Yep.
Just to add something for abroad listeners, so why good KV value is important, because we are now dealing with high flow rates. So previously gas boiler, high temperature, low flow rate. Now we have low temperature, high flow rate. And for high flow rate, if you want to move water from point A, which is heat source, to point B, which is your home, you need to pass that water as much efficient as you can, as Kimbo said. So efficiency, this is why good KV value is important and good valve is important, because we also talk a lot about the system and the solution. And the main part is what is between the heat pump or the heat source and the house. All of these pipe works, valves, this is where you have high or low efficiency.
Thank you.
That's a really good point. I'm not as technical as these two, or as good looking as these two. How I see it is, and I've been in heat pumps for years, is you've got a fantastic heat pump here, which is well engineered. Yeah. You've got a fantastic installer here. Yeah, that Kimbo's taught, obviously, right? And then we've got a bag of tricks in the middle. Now, because we're in the UK, we tend to find traditional ways to do things. So what people aren't understanding over here is when the heat pump over here locks out or has an alarm, it's not because the installer's rubbish, it's not because the heat pump's rubbish, it's because we've chosen the wrong valves or the wrong pipes and fittings. And it really, really is that simple. You know, so for me, I was brought up on bar pressure. So when I saw KVS for the first time, I was like, oh my goodness me. And I still probably couldn't understand it, but I understand the reason for it, and that's the message that we need to get out.
Last words also from you?
I echo everything that's been said. There's a lot to do, but it's challenging. It's an exciting time. So keep pushing forward. We just need a bit of stability, like Rich said, from the government, so everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet and moving forward together.
Right training, right products, and right installers, and we'll have a load of good heat pump installations. You miss any of those things out, we're going to fail. So that's my final word.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there anything other topics we need to bring up, or how do you feel?
I think one of the things that we say, and Richard's got it on the head, you know, we need good training. The problem is where are we going to get good trainers from? So we've got a massive gap in the trainer's ability, not just the installer's ability. And there are places now that are trying to fill that gap, and we're actually trying to think, so we've got the courses ready, but we need to find the trainers that A, have got the passion to want to teach it, and B, have got the knowledge to deliver it confidently and actually be able to answer harrowing questions from people, because you do get harrowing questions. There's nothing worse than going on a course, it's a technical course, and then you realise that the guy that's actually teaching it is literally reading it off the PowerPoint or whatever and doesn't really understand, you know, not what he's talking about, but doesn't really understand the subject to deliver it with the passion that you need to. Because if you haven't got enthusiasm in the classroom, you know, the class responds to the guy that's delivering it. So finding the trainers is going to be a big issue. We're hoping, where we're coming from, we're hoping that we can find guys that are full-time installers, and there's no way they're going to change their jobs at 100 grand a year to work in a college at 30 grand a year, so we're never going to attract them financially. We're hoping we can give them a break for a couple of days. So instead of being on their knees in an attic, you know, we can say, look, do a couple of days a month in a classroom. You know the latest stuff that's out there, you know the industry inside out, you know your stuff, you've got the enthusiasm, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. Yeah, they're the guys we're looking for. Yeah, and that's how we're going to scale that, I don't know. But within our little arena, that's how we're going to scale it. They're the people we're looking for.
Agree with Kimbo, especially we think that, let's say we are all engineers, but to teach someone is completely different science. Science of learning, science of teaching, science of passion. Because you need to be passionate, not to put PowerPoint, but to put real examples and to have, okay, we have here collaboration, someone is good at teaching, someone is good at making videos, someone is good at writing books. How to put all of this together, this is a real challenge. We are also building now a new educational platform, a little bit interactive, because I think a combination of in-person and online learning is important. Because I think we are missing 300,000 engineers in Europe, in whole Europe. Where we will find that guys? So even in our industry, it's really hard to do that. But how could we scale? This will be the real challenge. So I think, of course, in person, but you have some limits. You can be at one place at a time. Online also has some other barriers, so we need to put all of this together, and of course in support with manufacturers like ESBE, like heat pump manufacturers, like installers, like universities. And I think, as Rich has had a good point, if we fail at one thing, everything is failing, because every piece in the chain must be excellent. Not good enough, but excellent.
Yes, I agree. And all of you do a hard work of trying to get out with information and knowledge to your colleagues and to the market. So you're doing a great job. And thank you for meeting me here today. It's always a happiness for me to see your faces.
Thank you. Thank you. Will I just drop it?